Right, so good morning, sports fans and fans in general, and welcome to Joy Sports on Multi TV, where it's a Wednesday morning, and as usual, it's time for Sports Today, the program, the fully loaded sports program that hits your television screens every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7 to 8:30. My name is Hanson, Joseph Hanson. I'm sitting in for Nathaniel Atto, and today we have a packed show for you. We'll naturally look at last night's Champions League action. It was a brave fight put up by the Red Devils of United. They showed that Bayern can indeed be matched, boots for boots, second for second. They're in a strong position ahead of the second leg. Atletico Madrid, who managed to snatch a 1-1 draw at the Camp Nou. We'll also look at Otmar Hitzfeld. Speaking of the Champions League, he's won it twice. He was in Ghana yesterday, and he spoke to Joy Sports. We'll see what he had to say, and he will tell us exactly what he's doing here in Ghana. We'll also do our usual paper review. Lots of interesting headlines, dominated, of course, by the fight between Bukom Banku and Aite Powers, which we believe will come on soon, but not yet. We'll see what the papers have to say about that. We'll also look at tonight's Champions League action, also a dominant headline in today's newspapers, and namely the 90 Minutes and the Graphic Sports, where it's PSG and Chelsea doing battle at Stamford Bridge. It's a reunion between Jose Mourinho and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. There's also another key game. We'll do the build-up to that as well. All that and many more coming up here on Sports Today. So keep your comments coming in, and I'll be reading some of those as well. So let's do our first break, after which the show begins in earnest. Right, so welcome back to Sports Today, where, like I said before the break, we have a lot of highlights to show you. But we'll begin by doing our usual roundup of the dominant headlines in today's newspapers. And we begin with the Graphic Sports. And there you see the fights which we wonder if indeed it will ever happen. There's Bukom Banku on front. There's Bukom Banku on front. And there's yet another reverend involved. So we have details of that. And then there's the big one tonight. It's PSG taking on Chelsea. It's Zlatan Ibrahimovic versus Jose Mourinho. Remember that the two worked together during the Mourinho's days at Inter Milan before Ibrahimovic later moved on. So there you have the highlights there. And there's Opambua, who is fortifying Bukom Banku. Bukom Banku has also consulted a pastor. Anfield is a no-go area, so says Brendan Rodgers. And remember that Chelsea and Man City have to go there if they have any hopes of winning the league title. So for Liverpool, it's simple. Win all their games and they are champions. So too for Manchester City. They can also win all their games and they will be champions. Chelsea do not have their fate in their own hands. So there you have it. So let's now look at the back page. And the back page, you find that Mediama to face the Leopards. That's a build-up to the Glory Premier League, or that's the African competition rather. Remember that Mediama have advanced, so that's that right there. And then there's Liberty to host Chelsea. That's also another very interesting game. So these stories are available in the Graphic Sports. Perhaps I'll thumb through some of the pages for our benefits. And yeah, at the back you have more details on what I just talked about. It's Anfield, a no-go area for some of the big teams in England. They have to go there, they have to win if they are to have any chance. And Valdez, remember that Valdez was injured horribly during the El Clasico. He was stretchered off the pitch, so he's out for 7 months, which is a big blow. So in effect, he may have played his last game for Barcelona, or he has played his last game for Barcelona, given that the season ends in less than 7 months. So Valdez, some hated him, some loved him, but his career as a Catalan is over. You have some EuroLeague standings to the right of this paper. Perhaps on your left you see the EPL standings, so you can have an idea of where your team stands. Liverpool on top with 71, Chelsea second 69, Man City 67, but they have 2 games in hand. The Arsenal fans still believe they can win the league, even though they are 7 points behind with just 6 games to go. So that promises to be interesting. And all these are available in the Graphic Sports. There's also a story there about Djokovic, who said he felt very good to have beaten Rafael Nadal. Remember that they met for the 4th yet time in Miami at the weekend, and it was Djokovic who prevailed in 2 straight sets, 6-3, 6-3. Okay, so those were the key stories in the Graphic Sports. Let's now move to the 90 minutes. So there you have the 90 minutes. There, remember it's available. One of Ghana's biggest selling sports newspapers. It sells for only GHC 2 CDs. That will get you the 90 minutes. Then why do you need to spend this money? Well, you see the stories there. You have at the top, there's Interboss admires the DIU. So the DIU, always the target of transfer speculation. always the target of transfer speculation. It's believed that he could move to Inter Milan. So there you have the paper on your screens, and you also have pictures there of Essien. Essien grabs Jocelyn Duma. Well, I'm not sure how true that is, but that's a picture of them together. And then you see Kevin Prince Boateng there. He vows that the Black Stars will deliver. He's speaking of the World Cup, I'm sure. And Desai tips Ibrahimovic to silence Chelsea tonight. It's going to be a battle at Stamford Bridge. Ibrahimovic, one of the informed strikers in the world, will be on show. So to the back page, you see more pictures there. Stephen Appiah warning the stars of Cristiano Ronaldo as if they didn't know already. Zero in great form. He's averaged 40 goals or more for Real Madrid since he joined them, which is in itself an impressive record. So he's going to be all out when the Black Stars take on Portugal in the World Cup. And then you see Angry Mourinho. He's going to axe Torres and Eto'o and Bar, and he's going to bring in Costa. Costa played last night for Atletico Madrid. He also went off with injury ahead of the second leg in 8 days' time. So that may be a worry for that side. Perhaps I'll come through and see if there are any stories. Then there's a nice feature by Isaac Opele Boateng, Coach Isaac Opele, and he's talking about the World Cup. He's saying that the Black Stars must be 90% scientific and leave 10% for deities at the World Cup. So there are hints of superstition there, but the bulk of the story is focused on what the Stars need to do to succeed at the World Cup. And at the bottom you see Olympique Lyon. They're also interested in Majid Waris, who is one of the Black Stars' hottest prospects. We're certainly looking forward to his performance in Brazil a bit later this year. And then there's also more stories here, which I feel will be of note to you, and more reasons why you need to get this paper. And the Fire Polo hits back at the Hearts Blue Boys. The Hearts job is never an easy one, and Coach Mohamed Follow, himself a firebrand, has hit back at the Blue Boys, who've been complaining about the form of the team. You see that story there. You see a story of Alhaji Jalula, former FA chairman, blasting the noise over the World Cup budget. There will always be noise over that kind of money. Interboss Matarazzi admires Dede. Those are details there. And then John Pinsel says that the accusations against him by his wife, that saga still rumbles on. He says the accusations are childish. So that does it for the newspaper review here on Joy Sports on Multi TV. So like I promised you, let's begin with Champions League action. Last night it was Manchester United. Many were calling it Le Massacre at Old Trafford. They were expecting United to be rolled over by Bayern Munich, but that was not to be. United put up a brave fight and came away with a 1-1 draw. Let's take the highlights now.
Rooney with this United corner. Can a set piece break the deadlock here? In towards Vidic. Oh, they've scored! Manchester United get the goal they dreamed of! They have taken the lead against the champions of Europe! Well, would you believe that? It's a good presence at focal point to the attacks. Here's Robin. On to Rafinha. Dangerous cross aimed at Mandzukic with a downward header, finds Schweinsteiger, who finds the back of the net to bring Bayern Munich level. Brilliantly created goal, superbly finished.
It's gone by were highlights of Manchester United taking on Bayern Munich. It ended 1-1. Schweinsteiger later sent off. Some say Rooney dived, others say he didn't. What do you think? You can comment on that as well. But on your screen now you have highlights of Barcelona taking on Atletico Madrid, and this was a very interesting game. 3 times these sides have met this season, and 3 times it ended in a draw. And last night was no different. It was Barcelona who had to come from behind, though, after Atletico Madrid had gone ahead. That was later in the second half. These are first half highlights. What an interesting game it was, and it promises to be even more interesting when they meet 8 days later at the home of Atletico Madrid. And this was a screamer from Costa, not from Diego, I beg your pardon, not the Diego we know, not the striker, but the other Diego in the team. That made it 1-0, and Neymar's equalizer was even more impressive. That will come up shortly, as Barcelona fought to claim a draw at home. Yeah, so that was the goal from Neymar. That made it 1-1 on the night, 1-1 on aggregate, and it set up pretty nicely for the second leg, because it means that for the first time in a long while, Barcelona head into a second leg away from home, needing to score to stay alive in the tie. So that was how the game ended. Barca struggled mightily. They huffed and puffed and tried to get an equalizer. The keeper doing a great job there to keep the goal out. And in the end, it was 1-1 to both teams. So 1-1 in both fixtures. Tonight we'll be hoping for more goals. PSG take on Chelsea. Promises to be interesting. And it's Real Madrid taking on Borussia Dortmund. Remember that these two met at the semi-final stage last season. Then it was Jose Mourinho in charge. He's no longer there now. It's Carlo Ancelotti who will do battle against Jurgen Klopp tonight. Promises to be a great feast of football. Who's your money on? Who do you tip to get the early edge in these two pulsating ties? Well, there's also Europa League action. Those are the fixtures on your screen. Europa League is every Thursday night, as you well know. It's also the last 8. AZ Alkmaar taking on Benfica. FC Basel face Valencia. Sevilla FC will face Portuguese giants FC Porto, and Lyon of France take on the old ladies of the Italian Serie A in Juventus. Right, so let's stick with the Champions League theme, because last night, not last night, yesterday afternoon was a great afternoon here in Accra, because Otmar Hitzfeld, remember him, he's won the Champions League twice. One was with Sami Kufuor's Bayern Munich. That was back in the year 2001. Well, he was in Accra last night as part of a special project to Ghana, and he took some time out to speak to Joy Sports.
I did all my examinations to become a math teacher, but at the time I was a football professional. I hadn't been in a school for 10 years, and so the German state, they required me to do another examination, and I didn't want to do it, so I thought, why not give it a shot as a football manager.
All right, now you had a very good career as a footballer. You had to play the role of scoring goals. When you look back at yesteryear, would you always want to remember and smile about, or raise your about?
Yeah, I just enjoyed it generally. As a professional football player, the only thing you have to do is to play football. And I was playing at Basel, I was playing at Stuttgart, Luzern, Lugano, and I always really enjoyed my time, because you go to practice and everything's set up. You go to the game and you're in the lineup, and so I just generally enjoyed my time being an active football player.
It's interesting that you did a lot of your playing career, or went through a lot of your playing career in Switzerland. Somebody would want to know why it was not in Germany, where obviously the profile of football was bigger.
So the main reason is that I grew up very near to the Swiss border, and so my first station as an active football player was Basel in Switzerland. And I just generally enjoyed being at home. I didn't want to go too far away because I was getting homesick quite quickly, and yeah. All
right. Now you had a good career as a footballer, and then you zoomed into coaching. You've achieved so much over this period that you've been a coach, and sometimes when you look back, is there anything you feel that you need to do before you retire as a coach?
Become the world champion.
I see. And talk about that. How many years do you think you have to contribute actively to coaching? Now you're in charge of the Swiss national team. Do you see yourself retiring anytime soon?
Yeah, so I decided to quit football as a coach after the World Cup, and then I will only be working for television for Sky Germany.
I see. So what if by that time you wouldn't, you haven't won the World Cup as a coach? What happens? Do you continue?
No, I made a decision in November, and I was talking to the Swiss Football Federation. They wanted me to continue, but I told them that I would definitely end my career as a coach after.
Coach, tell me, you've had to do a switch from club football to national team football. For you, you've seen it at the highest level when it comes to club football, and obviously you've seen it to the highest level as well. You're going to the World Cup, you're leading Switzerland to the World Cup. Tell me what the differences are, as you have experienced and as you have noticed, with coaching a club and coaching a national team?
Yeah, so you have more time to do different things. You have, of course, more time to lead a healthier life, but also it's good because you can actually also work on structures. I'm having a lot of meetings with many officials. I'm working in training future coaches, and so these are the main things I'm doing now.
Switzerland, once again, will not necessarily be the team that people out of Switzerland may want to look at as the team to win the World Cup. And for you as a coach with a lot of pedigree, what are your realistic expectations going into Brazil 2014?
Yes, of course, Switzerland are not the favorites. So for us, the most important thing is to make it beyond the group stage. But as soon as we're in the run of the last 16, there is no border. We're trying to go as far as we can.
All right, let's talk about Ghana, our group, Ghana, Germany, Portugal, and the USA. Now, the USA is coached by a German technical brain, somebody whom you saw emerge, from the early stages of his career all the way into coaching. Now, whenever you sit back and look at that group with Ghana, Germany, and Portugal and the USA, I mean, what runs through your mind? What do you think that Ghana will have to do if Ghana wants to go beyond the group stage in the FIFA World Cup, especially when they're playing a team like Germany, which has many players who've come from within Bayern Munich? I mean, some of them you saw from the scratch.
Yeah, so it's a question of mentality, and of course Ghana shouldn't have too much respect for their opponents. Of course, in this group Germany is the favorite, but Ghana has a lot of really good players. Just to mention a few: Asamoah Gyan, Kevin Prince Boateng, Michael Essien, Muntari. And yeah, they just have to know their strengths, and they have to believe that they can make it, and then everything's possible.
All right, and also continuing in that vein, we have a player who featured at the first World Cup for Ghana, which was interestingly hosted by Germany. A very well attended World Cup in terms of the attendance at the venues. Now, Samuel Osei-Kuffour is one player who's respected here in Ghana and also on the African continent for his achievements. But a lot of the achievements he was able to make on the football pitch and the silverware he won was under you. Now tell me what you saw in Kuffour that many other people did not see, the reason why you gave him the opportunities you gave him and all that playing time to rise to that level as a footballer.
So I think the most important thing is that you are able to build relationships based on trust. And when I first came to Bayern Munich, he made a lot of little mistakes, and so I had long talks with him, and I convinced him that he should look at his qualities. He's a very good defender and a very good team player. And so it's always been the thing with my players. I was trying to build a relationship based on trust with them.
How challenging was it for you to pick a player, from Africa, especially when, Bayern Munich, the most achieved team, the most achieved club in German top flight history, didn't really have the history of, giving African players the opportunity to play and to excel that high?
Of course the history wasn't like this, but you shouldn't look at the history, you should look at current trends, and at this particular moment Samuel Kuffour was one of the best defenders in the world, and what I had to do with him, I knew he had a great character, but what I had to do with was giving him a bit of self-confidence to call on his qualities, and that's what you finally did.
Alright, we're still here in the presence of, or sharing the company of Coach Otmar Hitzfeld, who is a legendary coach from Germany, who is in charge of the Swiss national team for Brazil 2014 here live on Joy Sports. Also, Coach, I want you to tell me, as we round up this discussion, the interaction that you had with Ghanaian football administrators and coaches earlier today, some questions came and I realized that you gave them answers that were similar to some of the situations we have here. What does it tell you about the way coaches here in a developing league like the First Capital Plus Premier League are thinking? What does it tell you about the psyche of technical people in this side of the world where we're still growing our brands, or our leagues, as against those who are also there at the highest level in Europe, and together with all the other modern trends that are happening in football today?
So the differences aren't too significant really, because when it comes down to coaching a team, there are certain values that are important everywhere around the world. Values such as respect, trust, and all those other things. And of course the differences lie mostly in money, because the leagues in Europe, they have a lot of money, but when it comes down to the day-to-day business of coaching a team, these are the things that you have to look at, and those are the same all around the world.
Let's round up the discussion with your life of everyday work as a coach. You spoke earlier about how moving away from the demands of everyday coaching at the club level has made you live a relatively healthier life. So I just want to ask, I think you look very good, considering the fact that you've advanced in age. What do you do for sport on the side, and how do you relax on a regular day when you're off the hard work?
Of course, nowadays the life of a football coach is way less stressful. But when it comes to sports, I do myself. I go skiing in winter. I play golf in summer, and I have a little gym at home where I go on the treadmill sometimes, only 1 or 2 hours a week. But the most important thing is that you like your work, that you like going to work, and that you enjoy it every day.
I was expecting him to mention Oktoberfest.
Yeah, sehr gut. Lustig.
All right, and Coach, tell me, everybody is talking about the Champions League and the fact that no team has been able to win it back to back. From where you sit now, watching from the background, do you see Bayern Munich as the team to break that jinx?
So I'm convinced that Bayern will go on and win the Champions League back-to-back for the first time. They have a great team. They don't only have 11 players, but they have 20 world-class players, and they have a very good coach with Pep Guardiola, and he's even developed the team further than compared to last year. So I think that they will be the first ones to win the Champions League.
Do you want to see any child of yours do what you're doing now? Is anybody showing any interest in what you do now?
Son doesn't want to go through all the stress. He likes playing football for fun. He's working in marketing, but I don't think he will ever become a football coach.
Right, so that was a long-ranging interview between Nathaniel Attor and Otmar Hitzfeld, who is in Ghana for a few days, and he spoke on a lot of things there. So just to recap, he spoke about his time as a coach. He's won 2 Champions Leagues. He also spoke about the essence of Sami Kufuor to his second Champions League winning side. That was the Bayern Munich side of 2001. The first triumph was with Borussia Dortmund. And he also spoke about some of the things that he does when not coaching, which in itself was interesting. And it was natural that Nathaniel would ask him about Ghana's prospects at the World Cup, where Ghana take on Portugal and Germany and the United States, and he also gave his comments on that. He feels that Ghana have a very, very good chance. So it was good to hear from Hitzfeld. Remember that this show will be repeated a bit later, so if you missed any part of that interview, you can watch it again. So let's continue with sports today, live here on Joy Sports on Multi TV. My name is Hanson, Joseph Hanson, and let's now hear from GFA Executive Committee member George Friye, who is speaking on the World Cup budget brouhaha.
I'm aware that some preliminary discussions were made, and we agreed in principle. And I don't have the specific as I'm speaking to you now, but I remember that part of the World Cup money, will be used to support, let's say, Kaneshi Sports Complex, to build a boxing gym at Bukom, and then also to upgrade facilities at Pram and things like that. Those are the things I can remember.
Football money should go into football purposes. Do you agree with the plans of the minister and the government?
Well, I don't think it's an issue, because first of all, today as we speak now, the funds being provided is the taxpayers' money, and taxpayers' money can always be channeled to different sectors of the economy. Now let's see even what happened when we came back from 2010. Where is the prize money? I'm sure the minister said that the money has gone to the consolidated fund and it's been used for all Ghanaians. What about that one too? What about that one too?
Maybe you didn't fight for it.
No, I mean, come on, you and I agree that a taxpayers' money has been used to finance a particular program. The income or whatever you got out from that program has been taken over by government, and the government says I've used it for the benefit of all Ghanaians. What can you say? So if there's an arrangement that says that part of the money will be used for a specific program, which also goes on to develop other sectors of our sporting industry, what is wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that.
In 2006, you got 40% of the 6 million that Ghana earned. In 2010, we know the money went into the consolidated fund. In 2014, have you agreed on the percentages if the money should come?
No, I don't think we've agreed on percentages, but the most important thing is that the minister made a proposal which says that part of the money will be used for other sectors of our sporting discipline. And I don't see, for me, I support him and I don't see anything wrong with that. There are other football people who are also saying that, I mean, there must be, money must go to certain clubs for development of the game. They also have their opinion, but I'm saying that the arrangement where even in the past, if you could remember, we did not get all, even to 2006, not all was given to the FA, and so part of government, part of the money that went to government could have been used for what we are saying. So government is saying that when you come back, I'm using part to develop other sectors and I will give you part. What is wrong with that? In any case, the 2006, it was not all that was given to us. In 2000, it was not all that was given to us. So if government is saying that I will give you part, the GFA will get part, so that we can use that to develop our football, and then part will be used to develop other sectors of the. For me, I don't see anything wrong.
So when you have some of your committee members saying they don't agree and they would literally fight their way out with Mr. President.
That is the beauty of democracy. That is his opinion. That is the member's opinion. Because in any case, I'm saying that in 2006, not all the World Cup money was given to us. Not all. And you agree with me, right? You even quoted some percentages here. So it means that even in 2006, we got part. And then we choose to buy pickups for the RFAs to develop grassroots football. That is what we did in 2006. In 2010, we didn't get anything. Now, if you have a minister who is saying that you will still get some, like we got in 2006, and then we as football people will then decide what we want to use it for. Okay, he's even suggesting that we should use it to upgrade the facilities at Pram, which is a good thing because it's also for development of football. But then the other side, which people don't understand, is that why are they going to use part of the money to develop Kaneshi Sports Complex or Bukom, a gymnasium at Bukom? It is the part that government is taking that is going to use it to develop those things. Is that not what he's saying? And what is wrong with that? What about if they decide that I have financed it and I'm not giving it to you? What can you do? Can you fight government? You can fight government. But what is important is that what will come to the Football Association is what we need to decide what we really want to use the money for. But the one that will not come to us, why should we be too much concerned whether and it's, in any case, it's still the same money. It's the same taxpayers' money that is being used to finance the the World Cup. And so if government decide that, yes, when the accruals from this World Cup, I want to use part, for me, I don't see anything wrong.
Judge, let me ask you one final question. As a member of the Emergency Committee of the FA, are you unhappy at the way the FA is being bashed with how you've gone about the World Cup budget?
Well, I wouldn't want to say I'm unhappy, but the most important thing is that we don't have to lose focus. The media is doing its job in asking questions, in finding out why A, why not B, why C, why not D. We are not giving up because I'm not obliged to give you that answers.
So there you heard Kwame Jumo-Ajiman putting the tough questions to George Opoku-Efriye, who is an executive member of the Ghana Black Stars, and he was speaking on the World Cup budget and other related matters at pains to explain how some of those monies that accrue from the World Cup are used, and explaining that in some years, indeed in 2010, they didn't get anything after their exploits at the World Cup. So that's a story that's certainly likely to rumble on. Enjoy Sports on Multi-TV, particularly Sports Today, will certainly follow that story every step of the way. So let's now continue with Mantrak Ghana Limited, because they are setting up a Right to Dream facility right here in Ghana.
I have all pleasure. We Mantrak, and in behalf of our dealer principals and our group CEO, Mr. Lutfi Mansour, I have the pleasure, and we have the pleasure to contribute in such great fields to build the football teams in Ghana and to build really good football players for the future in Ghana and for the future of whole Africa. What I have seen here is not only about football, it's not only about players, but it's about education, which is more important to everybody. And you are building future of this country, not just by football, but by good education for the player who can join this football academy. Being a Mantrak MD, our global strategy is to be a benchmark on a Caterpillar dealership in a global scale. By partnering, by being a partner for Right to Dream and contribution on constructing the fields, I think also we are achieving our trademark or our goal to be a benchmark, because this is really a benchmark, and we thank Tom for managing that, and hopefully we'll see best players coming out of this academy very soon.
All corporates in Ghana would like to sponsor football, and it's about creating a brand which aligns with the corporate identities of the companies who want to get involved in football. So, we work very hard. Obviously, we have a very strong educational vision and philosophy here. We work very hard to create world-class results for all of our students, and that's reflected, when you see our awards boards, it's not a new idea, it's something that's been going. And, like everything in sponsorship, nobody's going to sponsor an idea. They want to sponsor the reality. So we've been 15 years in the making, but we've now reached a point where the corporates feel really comfortable working with us and attaching themselves to our brand.
Your graduates are showing the world what an academy versus. You've got to take a lot of pride in that.
I think we've just started. If you look at the names that you know now, Waris and Akam and Mohamed Abu and others, is just from our second generation. But we have 9 generations now from the academy, so I think there's a lot more to come. We're very proud of what the early guys have done for us, King Osejan, Godfrey Saka, who started even earlier than them. And now I think if you watch the under-20s or you watch the under-17s, you'll see the next Right to Dream stars, and we like to think that every time they're getting a bit better.
Every time we come here, I see a change. Change in infrastructure, but also change within the attitude and the character of the young and up-and-coming players, which is fantastic. If I look at Augustine Ahimfo, Gerardo, to take them, they had a good combination with education and sports. And if I look at somebody like Solomon Thorson, who left Ghana when he was very young, coming from Accra Academy, but then went to England, played for Brentford, Queen's Park, and today is a chartered accountant, and also one of the general managers of Prudential Bank. I just want to tell you what is possible in life to combine academics and sports. You, the young ones, are blessed. You're also blessed that you have so much media here to cover everything and to spread the message. If I look at a guy like Stephen Appiah, where he came from, Choko, and didn't have such, let me say, fundamentals or basics in regard to education, but worked on himself a lot in regards to command the English language. And he has no problem to stand in public to read a speech, because he worked on himself, because he didn't have the foundation you guys had. So you have to call yourself really, really blessed.
Right, so there you heard from Tony Bafo, who is the president of the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana. And before that, you saw executives of Mantrak and the founder of the Rights to Dream Academy. And they were at the launch of a playing facility for the kids of the Rights to Dream Academy. And it's brilliant in the sense that they are trying to combine education with playing football, which is always the right way to go, since one in itself, it's not the end in all, meaning that you need to be sure that you're not placing all your eggs in one basket. So that's a laudable effort there by the company Mantrak Ghana Limited. So congratulations to them there. Let's now hear from Otia Kenting. He speaks on a juvenile project, and he, by the way, is the GFA technical director.
Well, it fits into it. In the first place, you know that you have to start from the grassroots. The FA program starts from the grassroots. And now FIFA is dwelling very much on the grassroots. CAF is dwelling very much on the grassroots. This time there is a pyramid. And on top of the pyramid is the grassroots. And then in the middle you have competitions, and then down there you have the national teams. But in those days it used to be the other way around. We talked about the national teams before we came to the competitions, then the grassroots. But because the grassroots is the foundation, you need to build a solid foundation. Now the grassroots is on top of the pyramid or the triangle. And this one tells you that if you start very well, if you have good pitches like this, definitely you'll be able to get to your dream. You need to start very well, and then you build on it, and gradually you get into the national team, so that where you see them play, you know that they have started doing some work right from the grassroots. And Right to Dream gets into the FA's program in the sense that they deal with the grassroots, and we need them. Now, as we are talking, we have so many of their players in the under-17, both male and female, and then the under-22, we have about 3-4 of them there. And then when you move to even the under-23, we also have some there. Then talk about Wallis and the rest. They are all there, also on top of even at the national team, the senior national team. So it's a very vital thing for us. The FA cannot build the academies itself, so we need to encourage the academies and then make sure that we get the right this thing to build on.
Right, so Tia Kenting there, the technical director of the Ghana Football Association, giving his thoughts on the essence of such juvenile facilities and academies like the one we just saw. So let's move on, and remember that Ethiopia, if you've been watching the African Nations Cup and indeed the World Cup qualifying, they are a much improved side, and a lot of this is down to their coach Siunet Bishao. And guess what? Recently, Joy Sports caught up with him, so let's listen to what he had to say.
I was invited by the Right to Dream Academy officials and the owner. Then I accepted the invitation and I came yesterday.
What do you make of what you've seen here so far?
What I'm seeing is different, you know. In my life, I have been in many African countries and even in Europe. Especially in Africa, I didn't see a very beautiful academy like this. I saw Africa region, the academy. This is a unique one. So this academy will help the Ghanaian people very much. And really, I'm proud when I see it. I was very eager. This children could be in Ethiopia.
We have 3 months to go to the World Cup. Yeah. You've seen all the 5 African teams that have qualified. Yeah. How far do you think they can go?
I think they can go up to the quarterfinals, because every player of African team are playing in Europe. They know each other. They know European players. They know Portugal players. They know English players. They know Italian players. They have played with them against them. They know each other. You know, physically or technically, tactically, they are not, inferior than those Europeans. So why not they go further to the quarterfinals? So I'm sure they'll go to the quarterfinals. Take Cote d'Ivoire, take Ghana, take Nigeria. Or our professional players. Why not they go to the quarterfinals? So I hope they'll go.
Let me ask you this, a very personal question. Stephen Keshi has said that he wouldn't mind if the Nigerian players come with their wives to the Cup of Nations. Do you think it's a good idea to have the wives of players come with the players to a tournament?
Yeah, once I have been in Germany for coaching purposes for learning. So I have watched two teams playing there in Cologne. Via Leverkusen against Cologne, I don't know. I forgot it. It was long time ago. So after the match was finished, everybody was with his wife. Every European player with his wife and children. They sat together in the opponent's club. They sat together with the opponent team. They were invited to dinner, and every player was sitting with his child and with his wife. So what's the problem if they sit with his child and wife? So a player will give 100% when his wife is sitting looking at his performance. So what's wrong? Me, I appreciate this idea. Me in Ethiopia also, I will allow players to bring their wives and sit together. What's wrong?
So interesting thoughts there of Ethiopian coach Sigunet Bishao, speaking on quite a number of issues there, the last one being very interesting. The questions being put to him by Kwame Njimo Ajiman. Let's now hear from the Kotoko CEO, Opoku Inti, and he's speaking to Joy Sports. He's going to speak about Kotoko's development, some of the plans that they have as they seek to get back to the glory days of old.
For the Puma, I think it's in the pipeline. Someone came to me that he was able to bring sponsors of Puma to SNSC. So I think he's.
What about
for the Puma, I think it's in the pipeline. Someone came to me that he was able to bring sponsors of Puma to SNSC. So I think he's working on it.
What about Safari Bet?
The super bet.
The super bet, yeah.
Yeah, the super bet deal has been concluded, and we have 3 years contract with them. They will pay escorting every year, and every year they're going to give us 120,000 Ghana cedi.
Could you have negotiated for more?
For now, no. I think there's a clause that after 1 year, if they are also benefiting the way they should, I think they will go up.
We have 7 more matches to the end of the league. Are you confident that Kotoko would win the league?
For the act of confidence, I am confident that we can win the game, but we also need to caution ourselves not to be complacency, but to be able to focus and till the last whistle is blown. As for football, they are full of surprises, and sometimes I don't want to say something that will make the players think all is good, but in football anything can happen.
Some of your players are running out of contract at the end of the season. You have to find the money to retain them. What are you going to do?
We are dealing with that. If we come to that bridge, we will cross it.
But you have to find the money.
Of course, without the money, we can't renew the contract. So, at all costs, we need to find the money and renew the contract.
Would you want to stay as a CEO of the club next season?
Well, it's Nana who has the power to say you stay there or not. But if the opportunity comes, I think I will stay.
If the opportunity comes, he thinks he will stay. The words there of Opokunti, who is the acting Kotoko CEO, and that mandate, of course, lies with Otumfuo Asantehene, who will decide whether he stays or not. But Kotoko doing some good business there, doing a deal with Superbet that should bring in some extra money, and also looking to get Puma on board. So it's kind of the half a loaf is better than none principle, and that works fine for the Porcupine Warriors, who would be very happy if Kotoko are able to annex yet another league title, something it looks more likely than not. So let's continue here on Sports Today, here on Joy Sports on Multi TV. It's the Wednesday edition from 7 to 8:30. We're about halfway through the program. Lots more to come. Let's now focus on the First Capital Plus League. That's the local league here, Ghana's Premier League, and we'll speak to the Corporate Affairs boss of First Capital Plus, Nana Kese, and he's speaking on the trophy tour and what a lovely trophy it is.
I wouldn't call it hitches. I'll just say a slight incident. We went on a successful tour through the principal streets of Kumasi, and when we got to the stadium, we decided to drive through the tracks for the fans to have sound appreciation of the trophy. As a matter of fact, there were people in the bucket, protecting the trophy in the glass case. But I think when they go into the stadium, I don't know, probably they were too excited, so they go down to enjoy the ambience and all that. So there was this ramp, it was a small ramp where I think the ramp was protecting a cable. So the truck went over the ramp, and the glass case fell and broke. But the trophies are all intact. As a matter of fact, the trophies were even displayed on Sunday when Liberty played Hearts of Oak.
The trophy has been traveling around a bit. Is there any chance it's going to make its way elsewhere aside Accra and Kumasi?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're going to go to other lake centers as well. We were looking at Secondary, we were looking at Cape Coast, we were looking at a whole lot of centers before the league ends. As a matter of fact, there's been a proposal for us to represent it when Kumasi Asante Kotoko plays Hearts of Oak. So that's also a proposal that we are considering.
Your company came on board when the league had already commenced. Are you happy with how your association with the league is going so far?
Yeah, I can say that so far so good. We're happy. We're enjoying a whole range of goodwill from various stakeholders, especially from the media. And for some reason, I can say a lot of things are happening now. For example, look at today's session. A lot of things are happening. And I might want to classify all of that as divine coincidence, because it looks as if there's this energy which is being brought back into the league. So I'm sure that with time, Ghana's Premier League will become Africa's topmost league. But there's a lot of work to be done. We are not disillusioned at all as to the quantum effect that has got to be done. But we can say that from where we sit, so far so good.